Words are building blocks of a language. Words are building blocks of a language. And every word adds new knowledge to you. The last stage of our tones of passage has finally come. Because we've been doing a lot many tones and you've been understood a lot many related to this. There are some 50 tones. Yes, a half a century tone I've already done. And I've come up with the last 10 tones with you. Right? So first I start with 51st tone only, and then I'll see as per the situation if we need to do a recap related to our tones of the passage. When I have talked about the tones of the passage, let's skim through the material first and come up with the last tone that I discussed with you, that is the word candid, which is frank and outspoken and very straightforward in the speech. And coming up with the next tone, that is patronizing. The word patronize means you look down upon something. It's one of the very important phrasal verbs too. You don't, look at somebody with thinking that this person is inferior or lower in category in any response. Look down on something, humiliate somebody, very snobbish. What is this called, snobbish? This means carrying airs. You have a habit of humiliating someone. You are very condescending in your attitude. You are supercilious, you are imperious, you are haughty. Yes, very important, haughty. Lofty, very high, elevated thoughts you give. Very pompous, showy, snooty, high and mighty. You keep an upper hand. You ride on the high horse. Please note the idiom. Right? So this is something which tells you that you are talking in a more snobbish and a more condescending form. You are talking in a form in which you are making the other person realize that this thing is wrong. This type of a tone is called patronizing. The writer is very egoist. The writer is very haughty, insolent, proud, carries airs. The writer says that this is my viewpoint and I think I'm right. I believe my findings and my hypothetical statement is right without asking for or without giving any evidence for it. This kind of a tone will be of course called patronizing. Next word, chauvinistic. Chauvinistic is too much of patriotism. You're very loyalist, jingoist, or flag waving. See, you all know who are patriots. Traitor is just an opposite of patriot. Bhagat Singh had been a great patriot. This is something of very loyalist and jingoist in the attitude, and it is flag waving kind of thing, that is chauvinism. So chauvinist is patriotism, loyalist by attitude. Next is prejudice. Prejudice is biased, preconceived, preoccupied, prejudgmental. You can see this pre root working so much in this. Pre means yes, before. Judge means a kind of a judgment. You judge anything beforehand. You don't let that thing happen. You carry an unfairness and equity, a partiality towards things. Have you heard of Pride and Prejudice? Every reading, every of the essay that we have, every video in fact has those reading material for you, and this is one of the best novels of the world, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Read it, you'll understand what pride is and what is prejudice of Elizabeth Bennet, the protagonist of the story. So it's unfairness, it's one-sided, more of disinterested kind of an attitude. You are taking sides of something, jaundice side. The best word I could use for this, the best idiom I could explain it with the word jaundice eye. Your jaundice is not in the body, your jaundice in the eye. If it's said that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. If you carry something negative in your eyes, you would not see the beauty around you, because your eyes are what? They are jaundiced. Superficially is something just on the surface, exterior, peripheral, not deeply or thoroughly, just outermost on the surface. Sirf bahar se aapko lagta hai, there's no depth. Sometimes the writer gives you just an idea of something, he skims through the topic. This is called skimming. Just an idea, a glance over it, glance at it. that type of the thing is called superficial treatment of a thing, and outermost thing just on the exterior outermost surface is superficial, right? And hypocritical is too much of showy. It is professing feelings of virtues which one does not have. आप ये दिखा रहे हैं कि you are not this, still you try to be a very great hypocrite and you show that you have this quality which you don't have actually. Sanctimonious, holier than thou. Please note the idiom, holier than thou. Duplicit, dubious, double-minded, very phony. Fiend. Have you heard of the tragedy of Shakespeare? He had fiend madness. Hamlet by Shakespeare. Worth reading. I give you the reading material, I give you the tones of the passage, I give you the synonyms and antonyms, I give you the root words of it, right? Every time you get it. So this is something which is attitude, which is fiend means actually what? Pretend. Why I told you was because he also pretends to be mad, he was not actually mad. Face-stick, deceptive, two-faced or Janus-faced. This will be called hypocritical, right? The last tones of the passage. We have finally come to the end of the last tones of the passage. Idiosyncratic. Idiosyncratic is very peculiar, unique in your attitude. You are typical, queer, quirky or strange in your attitude. You're very abnormal. You're away from the track. Have you heard of out of the box? This kind of a tone, it's outlandish, it is freakish, it is weird, it's uncommon, bizarre. What is it? Yes, it's bizarre. It's off-centered, it is aberrant. See the root AB, move away. See the root an, meaning without. It's square. It's unique, it's different. The writer's presentation is different from the others. This type of a tone will be called, yes, idiosyncratic tone, right? So when we have this kind of a tone here, it is clearly seen that you can easily mark it out, and we can see that it is outlandish, freakish, it's away from the track, not the normal manner of speaking. Pedantic, please mark it, important tone, pedantic. Pedantic is meticulous. You're very careful, you're very conscientious. See, there is a word conscious and there's a word conscience, but its pronunciation is also conscious. I'm taking from this word conscientious. Conscientious is very careful in your speech, you're meticulous and over scrupulous, you're fussy, you're fastidious in your speech, you're finicky, finitial, precision. So it's word precisionist. See, precision, precisionist. Over exacting, and you're very punctilious in your speech. This tone would be called pedantic. Right? You are too much choosy and fussy about anything. You don't accept those things very easily. You are, as we say, children are very fussy related to eatables. The writer is telling about, but he picks up those things in a very peculiar manner. And that would be the word we use, pedantic. Sycophant is simply meaning flatterer, a person who is very toady, a person who is creep, a person who is flatterer, trunkler, flunky, hanger or a crowler. The writer is telling about things and he is maybe an Anglophile. He loves British people. He is being very flattered to him. I refer to a story, Karma. The writer is Khushwant Singh, in which you find sycophant's attitude. This is one of the passages where you'll find. This is kind of a passage only. It's around some 800 words. So it talks about the attitude of Sir Mohan Lal. He was an Anglophile. He loves British people. He loves those Britishes, their manner, their styles, and he hates the sordid Indians, their details of their life. He has spent 45 years of his life in India, and he has spent 5 years in England. Still, he loves England and he hates Indians. This kind of encycophancy, and he talks so good about the Britishers, their accent, their style of speaking is so much about away from Hindustani, right? Hindustani. And he feels so proud to say, hame Hindi nahi aata hai. This is what the style and the manner. Wonderful read. Please do read it, dearies. Ominous, something bad is going to happen. I give you one passage example for this, especially ominous. Like there is a place in Oklawa, and this place, it has not rained for a long time. People are suffering from drought. People are suffering from this dry weather, and the land has cracked. There are patches. The rain has, people have not seen any rain for a long time. The winds come but not the rain, and rain-head clouds have disappeared from the place for the last 2 years. The men are sitting near the door, thinking, figuring, imagining what their future will be. Will there be more of animal death, human death? They will live or not? What is going to happen further? This kind of a tone. Sitting near the door, thinking, imagining, figuring what is going to happen next in their life. This type of tone will be called, yes, this type of tone will be called, right, ominous. Very bad, giving you the worrying impression that something bad is going to happen. You know, typical daily soaps where you find the heroine praying for the hero, the protagonist, and he's in ICU. She's burning the lamps before God, and that flickering of the lamp, and it just extinguishes. Something bad is going to happen. Yes, something bad is going to happen. This is what is inauspicious. We all wait for the auspicious manner. It's baleful, dire, negative prefix, dire, unpropitious, dooming, sinister or unpromising is ominous tone. We don't want anything inauspicious to happen. We all want everything good to happen, so we keep our fingers crossed. And the last tone out of this would be dianotic. Dianotic is proceeding to a conclusion. See, this is a very important tone to be kept in your mind clearly and precisely. This is Dianotic, proceeding to a conclusion by reason or argument rather than intuition. You are discursive and logic. You have a valid reason. See, you understand reasoning because you also read reasoning. But there is a valid reason for an action. There is a discursive logic behind it. You are reflecting the capability to correct. The writer is speaking in such a way. The writer is speaking in such a way that his arguments, his views appear to be valid, right, reasonable, systematic, perfect and right and meticulous. Yes, this is what makes a writer a perfect writer. So this is a dianotic tone. I hope you have understood all the tones. 60 tones I had taken for all the tones related to which I could assemble. Still, if you feel anything missing in it or any idea or logic left in it, you're most welcome to come up with the feedback. Yes, please do like it and do write your comment for it. Thank you.